Hello guys, I'm back from my whole rest week and I feel pretty much refreshed. And today we're going to be talking about a brand new what if called What If Deku Never Got One for All. And so, let us begin then. So, we start off this story in a unexpected place. We're currently in One for All's little lair, as he's currently having fun with, you guessed it, Inko. And yes, I'm going to be doing the whole oh for one is, well, Izuku's dad thing. So sorry if you don't like this idea, but personally I kinda like this idea. Anyway, so for All for One is currently having fun with Inko, as Inko would say this. Hey Asashi, we should stop. After all, my baby over here. As he would say this. I see. Hmm. Oh well. Anyway, I should be going right now. After all, the number one villain should probably, I don't know. Wait for a second. Destroy his certain hero, or rival in this case. As Inko would say this, good luck. As she would start, moving on, as she starts going through the layer. As for All for One would start jumping away, going into the whole fight between him and All Might. So let's time skip a little bit. So, Izuku is now a few years old, as, apparently they had a falling out, being Inko and All for One. Apparently, All for One kind of got mad and kind of made them, divorce. So, Inko is a bit disgruntled, and also has another child with her. In this case, Izumi, Izuku's twin sister. So, because of this, when they, gone to the quirk doctor, they didn't really had a quirk. Specifically, Izumi and Izuku. Both of them didn't have quirks, and Inko was kind of, mad but doesn't care. Both of them were actually pretty kind to each other, even caring about each other well enough. Until tragedy struck. So, apparently, let's just say something happens. So, during his years in, elementary school, both of them were bullied because, being quirkless, and Bakugo, being the greatest friend ever, decided to bully both of them. Yeah, that's not a really good image, boyo. So, because of the bullying, they both had a shared, hatred for, quirks in general. Because they think that quirks are basically the infections in society, causing all of this bullshit that's happening right there. Anyway, wait for a sec. Because of this, Izuku and Izumi became really close because of this. So, Izuku, at the time, is currently studying to become a type of, doctor, or more specifically, a researcher in quirk technology. Or even more specifically, a type of, researcher that is going to be, I don't know, making artificial quirks, but unfortunately, some of his work is being destroyed thanks to Bakugo basically burning his notebooks. Even though Inko and Mitsuri, let me just, sorry, I meant Mitsuki, not Mitsuri. Anyway, so, even though they had a good relationship, Mitsuki's son is still bullying, Inko's children, and she sometimes has to punish, Bakugo, fueling the fact that, it doesn't really work. Because Bakugo doesn't really care and is a prideful little, a prideful little brat, to say the least. So, after a while, both of them would start hating, heroes. At least kind of. What do I mean by this? Well, it's because of, wait for a second. Izumi. Izumi still loves heroes, especially All Might. As for Izuku, he's more of the extreme type of way. He especially hated heroes, especially if it comes to All Might, because in Izuku's eyes, All Might is a big freaking asshole. Mostly because he thinks that beneath that, well, charming smile, quote unquote, is a horrible, prideful, greedy, and deceptive person. So yeah, let's just say he doesn't like heroes at all. So, a few years down the line, he's now in middle school, still being bullied, and as for, well, a certain girl, Beiki, specifically his sister, Izumi, Izumi is still being bullied as well, but is currently trying to become a hero, even though Izuku tells her that she can become a hero just because, well, both of them are quirkless. But she still drives to believe that she wants to become a hero. But for Izuku, he doesn't believe that he can become a hero, and wants to become an artificial quirk maker or something like that. So, a few years later, they're now in middle school, and the infamous day begins. Just like in canon, the teacher arrives as he tells everybody to calm down, as he would say this. Alright, everybody. Now, I want all of you to pick their careers in the future, or specifically your schools, because that will be pretty important very soon. As everybody's saying, seriously? As he throws all of the paper up into the sky or the roof or whatever, as he tells everybody, I know all of you want to become heroes. Now, I seen some of you decide to become, well, members of UA, the famous hero school. Actually, the number one hero school of the world, in fact. As everybody would just look over, as they just think it's probably Bakugo. As Bakugo would stand up in his chair, and just like in canon, he would say that everybody's just well, a B-list hero or sidekick, quote unquote. As he would tell everybody that they should stay in their lane, and tells everybody that he's going to become the number one hero just because he has an explosion quirk. So, everybody just like gets mad and, well, just like in canon, but for Izumi, she doesn't really care. And for Izuku, he also doesn't really care. So, when it's finally time to announce who or what these people are going to be doing in their, well, or high school years, in this case, apparently two people are going to UA. These people are Izumi and Bakugo, and when Bakugo sees this, he would start charging towards, well, Izumi, as everybody would say, well, she's freaking dead. As Izuku would jump in, as he would get the blast chest. As Bakugo would say this, huh? Seriously? Saving your quirkless little sister? As he would say this, I told you to stay away from her, you damn. As he would say this, what? As he starts creating little explosions from his hands, as he would say this, you have the guts to try and fight me, Deku. As he would say this, whatever, let's go, Izumi. As the teacher would say this, alright, school has ended, you're now allowed to go. As everybody would start leaving, as Izumi would say this, so, why did you do that? Every single time, you're always getting yourself hurt, just let me do it, okay? As Izuku would say this, I'm doing this just because I'm your big brother, remember? As she would say this, even though you're 2 minutes, older than me, it doesn't mean that you had to be, well, a bit of an asshole. As he would say this, an asshole? I'm the one who frickin' saved you. As she would say this, whatever. Anyway, so we should probably just tell the principal about this. As Izuku would say this, you know the principal doesn't really care. The only thing that he cares about is power. Especially if it comes to quirks. Even though I'm a quirkless person, I still have so much intellect and, well, a great IQ, unlike you over there. As she would say this, hey, even though I want to become a hero, it doesn't mean that I'm dumb. As Izuku would say this, Oh, really? As she would say this. Mm, whatever. As Izuku would say this. Anyway, I should be leaving now. Especially you, Izumi. After all, Mom might be worried or something like that. As she would say this. Fine. So, they go through the alleyway just like in canon, as they get attacked by the sludge villain, but when Izumi was about to get, take over by that creepy ass slime creature or whatever, or the villain in this case, well, Izuku would basically push her away as he gets, swallowed up. As Izumi would start running away, saying, Izuku, I'm gonna tell the police, don't worry. As, All Might arrives as he saves both of them just like in canon. Even though Izumi doesn't exist in canon in the actual... you get it. Well, as All Might would say this. Are you okay, young man? As he would say this. The hell? As he would look over and see All Might. As Izuku would say this. Great, you. As All Might would say this. Do I know you? Or... As Izumi would just be in shock, but also in excitement because, after all, she is an All Might fan. So, she would ask for his, you know, autograph. As for Izuku, he would just say this. Izumi, we should go now. And besides, talking to All Might over there is probably gonna cause some more trouble. Especially attracting that villain over there. As the villain would try to escape, as All Might would capture him in the bottle. As All Might would say this. Don't worry, young child. I'm the one that's always here to save you. As Izuku would say this. Why would I need saving? After all, you're the symbol of... Well, whatever. We should start leaving now. As All Might would say this. You mean the symbol of peace, right? As he would say this. Oh, just get off my back. As Izuku would grab the hand of Izumi as he started walking away. As All Might would say this. Weird. Anyway, as they would start, or specifically, All Might would start going back to a little prison where, the sludge villain is going to be brought in. So, the sludge villain incident doesn't happen in this canon, or in this, what if. So, yeah. So, wait for a second. So, when they did get back home, they decide to eat dinner. As Izumi would, tell his mother, or tell her mother, in this case Inko, that she's gonna be applying to UA. Izuku doesn't really like that all that much. As Izuku explains it pretty clearly, Izuku would say this. Izumi, first of all, if you were to attend UA, you're probably just going to be in the either in some other class that doesn't specialize in heroes, or that, what is that called? That special class, or whatever it's called. Either way, it's better for you to just be in normal, high school or something like that. As she would say this. But I can become a hero. Just because I'm quirkless, it doesn't mean, as he would say this. Don't try. Trust me. I know that burden. First frickin' hand. As she would say this. That incident doesn't mean anything. You can be clear with that. As Izuku would just say this. Just leave it the hell alone. And besides, how can you become a hero without a quirk? I'm quirkless, and I can't become a hero. It's better if you just face reality, Izumi. You can't become a hero. As Izuku would go back to his room, as Inka would say this. Izumi, I mean your brother's right, but... Wait, Izuku, where are you going? As he would say this. I'm done with dinner. Besides, I need to get some sleep. As she would say this. Oh, yeah. Izumi, are you finished? As she would say this. Yeah, I am. As she would say this. Just go back to your room, okay? I'll just be alone. As she would say this. Fine, mother. So, she goes back to her room. As for Izuku, he goes back to his room as he starts doing some more research. He's a bit of a science nerd, to say the least. He's been learning about biology and a little bit of mysticism, specifically mythology. As he would start tinkering with some vials and starts creating some different types of formulas. As he starts sketching on his book, he would say this: "It's all wrong. Seriously, I'm supposed to be a great doctor soon, or at least I want to be. You just want to make a artificial quirk or something to rival those damn quirk users or whatever they call themselves, those stupid heroes. It's unfair. This world is unfair. This place. Why was I born? Why was I born in this stupid world filled with these prideful people that call themselves human, when they're nothing more than demons that wear the skin of heroes?" As he would start tearing up, as he would say this: "I should probably get some sleep. Besides, I need to get ready for high school soon." As he would fall asleep. As for Izumi, she would also fall asleep. So, Izuku drifts off to the dreamland as he would start to have a weird dream, to say the least. In this dream, he would see a battle between a army and one man wielding wait for a second. Would see a man fighting against a gigantic army. This army seems to be wearing Celtic, clothing, including the man himself. The man seems to be holding his own, wielding a large, gray, and, purplish spear. This spear seems to have a glowing symbol on it. As he starts clashing with every single soldier, as 3 spears were thrown across the battlefield, as he gets stabbed 3 times in his chest. As he would start tying himself on a rock, this rock would be placed by him, as he would start trying to fight off every single enemy, but when he dies standing on that rock, as the rock would start glowing, showing a symbol of a black dragon. A black and red dragon, to be more precise. As Izuku would start coming closer to that, man, this man would grab him by his, arm, as he would say this: "Here, have my spear. You want to become a hero, right? A hero that wants to bring down these so-called heroes. Then call my name. Ku. As he would wake up, as he would say this: what was that stupid dream? Whatever. That's just a dream. Nothing more, nothing less." As he would start getting off his bed, as moving to go to the shower. After he takes a shower, he would tell his mom that he's going to be going to work. Apparently, he's been working with a certain man. In this case, this man was a part of All For One's group. Apparently, All For One is currently making this, wait for a second. Certain creature known as a Nomu. Izuku doesn't know it, but he is, working with him, despite that he doesn't know that All for One is actually his dad. Yeah. So, Izuku is currently working with one of his, right-hand men, as he would say this. Oi, boy, what are you making? As Izuku would say this. Oh, I'm currently making a fluid that's supposed to be for your weird monster or whatever. You said that it's supposed to make this world a better place, giving quirkless people a fighting chance, right? As he would say this. Hey, kid. And despite, you being quirkless, I do care for you. I mean, you kind of look like my boss, but a bit younger. As he would say this. What do you mean? When I first saw him, he didn't have eyes, or at least anything that resembles a human. I mean, it's probably a quirk or something. As he would say this. Well, back in his younger years, I mean, he kind of looked like you. Especially with the, greenish hair that you had. As he would say this. Thank you, I guess. As the guy would say this. Anyway, so, how's that fluid making? As he would say this. Oh yeah, the fluid is supposed to be for healing, and in case if you don't have a quirk, or any type of quirk that specializes in healing, it would regenerate some of your parts, including full organs, but I'm not really sure that it's able to, recreate limbs or anything like that yet. As he would say this. Don't worry, I'm just gonna tell Dr. Ojiko about this. As he would say this. Doctor who? As he would say this. Ojiko, don't worry. Anyway, just keep doing your work. As he would say this. Right. So, after a while of making this weird concoction, which is basically blood for the Nomus, which he doesn't know about, he would, let's just say, get into some trouble. So, heroes arrive as they started charging the place, as they started, taking down all of the villains. Izuku would see this as he would start running away. After he ran away, a pretty significant, length away from his working place, Izuku would say this. I guess it's time for me to basically quit. As he would start moving away, as he would say this. Ugh, I think those heroes are gone. Oh god. And I can't believe that those damn heroes. He would start breathing heavily as he would say this. I guess I should probably get a new job. While he's moving through the streets, he would get an encounter with another villain. This villain would look over as he would say this. Oi, I didn't know a kid like you would be here. So, can you give me some of your money over there? As Izuku would say this. I don't have my wallet or anything of value. Please spare me. As he would say this. Spare you? You're lying, right? As Izuku would say this. I'm not lying. As he would grab him by his neck as he would say this. I hate liars like you. As he would start transforming his arms into bear-like claws as he would say this. Oh, I see. You really are lying. As he would grab his wallet, as Izuku would say this. Please, don't. That's all I have. That's for my mother. Please. As he would say this. Why would I even care about you? Do you even have a quirk? As Izuku would say this. As he would say this. Oh, you're quirkless. That's even more funnier than imaginable. How about this? As he would grab him by his neck as he would say this. How would I tear you limb from limb then? As Izuku would say this. Please, don't. As this guy would say this. Really? Why would I even care about a quirkless little brat like you? As a hero would arrive, as the hero would save Izuku, but after hearing that he was quirkless, would say this: "Hey kid, get out of here. After all, a quirkless person like you should stay out of the hero's way. After all, you are weak." Izuku would hear that as he would just run away, crying. He would remember back when he was a kid, being bullied because he was quirkless, and cried and ran away. Especially if it comes to Bakugo. Izuku would start crying, saying, "I hate this. I hate this stupid society. I hate it. I hate it." As his eyes would start glowing. Starts glowing. A faint of red for a second. As Izuku would just say this: "No. At least I got my wallet back. But I should probably break the news to my mother. I'm a failure." As he would start moving back home, as when he does make it to the apartment, both his mother and his sister were basically just chatting it up as they see Izuku. Izumi would say this: "Oh, hey, Izuku." As Izuku would say this: Mom, I got fired from my job." As she would say this: "Really? Don't worry, we can..." As he would say this: "Don't worry, I'm fine. I'll just find another job soon. Don't worry." As she would say this: "Don't worry. I'm worried for you. For both of you. After all, you are quirky." Izuku would say this: "I said just shut up." As Inko would just be shocked hearing this, as Izuku would say this: "Sorry, I... I should be leaving." As he would start going back to his room, as he goes to his bed and starts crying and crying. As Izumi would say this: "I just hope Izuku's okay. Even though he did tell me that I couldn't become a hero. But now, I think I have now the ability to use a power even greater than a quirk, at least." As green sparks would start coming out of her hand from the bottom of her table, or the dining room table at least. So, yeah, this is going to be the end of this episode. So, I hope you're excited for this new series, and I hope you liked the video. Comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!